Everybody, this is Ray from Rofo Audio, and welcome to the behind the scenes of the Fold video. We had originally decided that we were going to shoot the video in a barn north of Allentown, Pennsylvania, and we had gone and scouted out the barn and took some shots to make sure that it was going to work with the music and kind of make sure the vibe was right, and it was really cool. But collectively with the owners, we all just decided that it probably wasn't safe. Because we weren't sure the floor was going to be able to sustain the entire band and the film crew, especially for an entire day for multiple shots. And so unfortunately we had to scrap it. And so then we were kind of reeling for a bit because we were so close to the day that I had set up the entire crew and everybody to come shoot that we needed a place. And so we wound up here, which is an adult daycare center in Limerick, Pennsylvania, which is right next to Royersford. And it's a family-owned place called Bonhomie, and I'm part of the family that owns it. So I pulled a family card and said, can we shoot our rock music video at Bonhomie? And of course everyone was very nice and said yes. And so off to Bonhomie we went. We kept much of the story thread the same in the sense that we had originally decided we would do 3 age sequences of me by default because no one else could be the principal because I couldn't find anybody. But so we were going to do old Ray, young Ray, and then present day Ray. And so this is just me trying to establish some shots of what I was going to wear and that kind of thing. And it's not hard being old Ray. So old Ray was going to be a maintenance guy at the facility, and he was going to have acquired items from past patients and clients through the years who he had grown close to, and then he kept them, and he kept them in this little tiny room on the shelf and paid vigil to them along his time working at the facility. As I set off every smoke detector in the building.
Exactly. Get Limerick's finest out here.
Please no. The room was so tiny. It was hard to get the shots.
Yeah. What are you guys doing with the clients?
But it worked out really well. The shots came out great. And there was the night before even it rained, and there was even 3 inches of water on the floor. We could barely fit 2 people in the room to get shots. A lot of it was done through that little. There's Huey McCann, our director, looking through the little
thinking.
crawl space.
Shift back into your seat. When you're ready.
Here I knocked stuff into the water.
Whoops, doodles.
Ready?
Let me focus it a bit more. All right.
But aesthetically, the shots came out
Yep.
great.
Good. Wait, hold up. Wait, mime it again. Like, get a little closer so I can see what you're doing. Yeah, that looks good.
Good.
Yeah.
There we go.
Rolling.
House light. We want to go steady across. I want him staring straight ahead, as if we're not here.
Yeah.
All right, stare straight ahead at that, not at the wood. Let me see. We're gonna do two. We're gonna do a couple runs. We're gonna do the package. Stare straight ahead at the knot in the wood. Right
Where?
there, next to him.
Oh, sorry. I was really tired.
We rolling?
These sequences were to establish
Okay, ready?
how Ray would get
Okay,
items.
package.
One way
In
was
front of
through
you.
the mail, like if someone had left or
And
passed away and
package stare.
they had left him something,
one,
then he
go.
would get it.
15.
We basically ran out of time to do the other sequences, so
I got a head. Yep. Following.
the final video only has old Ray in it because it was just
To the right of it.
even this sequence establishing
Turn left. Like that. And touch the top. Yeah.
establishing Ray entering the building with
Action.
shots from outside, then the shot sequence from inside of the door opening, and then me walking in and walking through. It's
Trying not to be surprised.
Keep right.
it's incredibly time consuming,
I'm rolling. Slow down.
especially when I walk too fast up to the door the first
Turn
time.
on a Sunday.
But we could barely get the crane down there. This is a crane shot, and he did it also handheld. Did it a couple different ways and spliced it together. But
Hold there, right? Hold there. Hold.
a lot of places down there are about 4 foot. You
Good.
can't even stand up.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Like same thing. Just 5 seconds in here. Get rid of this.
So once we knew we were only going to do Old Ray, we did those. I got cleaned up and became Band Ray, and we started the band sequences downstairs. Then it's a matter of sort of converting the room and bringing in all the band gear, getting set up, figuring out lighting, which is crucial. And there's a lot of stuff that you can do in post-production, but the more that you can get right from the original shots, the better. That's Stefan and Huey trying to establish where we're going to start with the slide first.
What do you see, Steve? What are you seeing?
Hold on, turn it off for a second. I want to see.
Steve was a big help.
A little hole up toward the back of his head.
We had a lot of moving parts going at one time. We had
Yeah, can you get it to sit there?
basically had
Yeah, come here, Stefan,
3
look at that.
photographers going at one time. That's Stefan Henyon.
It's nice because it washes it out.
Again,
too,
working
'cause
with our director, Huey McCann. Michael McCann was another videographer. And then Ralph Nardell, who was a good friend of mine, it was taking still shots of the band for the last 3 years, came, and we turned him into a videographer too. So the way we shot the band sequences were we played the CD track, the actual track, through a PA and blared it as loud as we could.
So what are we doing? Though? Are we just going to do one all the way through and then do bits and pieces, or what?
We're gonna run 2 times,
Okay.
at least 2.
Okay.
And Drew played live drums, obviously, and Steve and I played our instruments live to the track, as you would like in your bedroom if you were playing to a CD at home. The vocals I just lip synced.
Like you've got a little buffer behind you and ahead of you. So like if you're moving around and stuff, you're not behind that pole. You're not getting behind that pole. So like, yeah, you got a little movement room.
Stefan's trying just to establish Steve's parameters of where he can move with the shot that we're doing right there. It's incredibly hard to get the shots because you have like different moving parts even within each shot of the lighting and what the musician's doing, and then also, you know, the actual functioning
What are we doing, kid?
camera of whether you're on a jib or the slide or handheld. But like all 3 things have to come together just right to get like a keeper shot. It's incredibly difficult. These 3 sequences coming up are shots that actually made it to the video. Again, Drew has the hardest job because he has to. Steve and I can mess up all over the place. I actually did. I have to say, I don't remember Steve messing up that much. I think it was just me. But Drew has the hardest job because he's like the metronome click track, and he's what allows us to sync up with the shots, and yet he has to also perform. And that's a great sequence right here. A lot of these shots of him made it into the video, but he was a machine that day. It's awesome. There's Ralphie. We did a lot of moving handheld shots. So this is Michael shooting me straight up for an entire sequence from the floor. And a lot of this stuff made it in. Stefan on the slide.
Get us all set up. All right, you guys ready?
Rolling.
Okay.
Downstairs we shot probably, I don't know, 12 to 16 full sequences, all different cameras, lenses, shots, angles. And it's tough for everybody to keep your energy up. Not only from a performance standpoint, but also for the crew, because these guys are you know, either moving around or crouched down, or you know, it's tough to concentrate on one single person an entire time and make sure you're getting what you need. It's a grind, but they did awesome. There's Ralphie. Ralph's the man. So Huey McCann was our director, and once he was comfortable that we had all the shots that we were gonna need from downstairs, or even at all, we were all wiped, but we collectively decided that we were gonna move everything upstairs and do another full sequence of band shots on the first floor of the building, and it worked out really well. This is one of the main activity rooms, and the cool thing about this room is that it has a vaulted ceiling. Like I said, downstairs we could barely stand up in some spots, and with the vaulted ceiling we were able to use the crane to its full capacity, and it turned out to be like a huge thing for the video.
Yep, just like that.
There's our director Hugh McCann, and that's Stefan on the right there setting up the crane shots.
We gotta get a couple. How many bones do we need?
Fill out what we got there.
We might, yeah.
But again, we had multiple cameras going at one time. There's Michael on the slide with a zoom, and we had to come into the room and sort of like convert it into. We tried to do like a medical setting with this privacy screens and some wheelchairs. Here's Stefan moonwalking to Maiden. But man, were we tired at this point. Steve was still rocking though. But it was, again, multiple sequences, multiple takes, tried to get the lighting right. Drew, again, was just a monster with making sure we could hear.
It's harder to hear in here.
The room was so different, and the PA we had blaring, but it was a small PA. But again, you know, we couldn't hear, but somehow Drew hung on and got us through it.
You got both running too? Okay, good. If, you know, between what you got here and, you know, I can release these guys.
What do you think?
They've done good, so.
Release the hound.
It's the only thing I can think of. Get yourself
So we were pretty wiped at this point. This is actually, we're deciding what to do, and thank goodness
like that's about it. Maybe
Huey was like, let's just run it a couple more times, and Stefan decided to put the fisheye on some of the cameras, which was like the greatest decision ever. Because the fisheyes rocked it up for sure, and we dialed the lighting back a little bit. What a diva. But Huey took a construction lamp and was giving us a different lighting aspect, and between the lighting and the fisheyes, we got a lot of keeper sequences right here. Of course, now we were playing Codependent to start the song. But these guys did an awesome job, and I can't thank them enough. And that's it. That was behind the scenes of our full video. Thanks so much for checking us out. And there they are, Ralphie, Huey, Stefan, and Michael. Good job, guys.